right in the home is where your nation begins. And I remember one day I was walking, exercising, and the Holy Spirit stopped me right in front of my house, and he said, "This is yours. Nobody will build this for you." He said, "You're gifted to do many things." He said, "But I need for your focus to be turned in this moment and in this season." And I decided to homeschool out of sheer obedience. Nothing that I wanted to do. My life has been nothing that I wanted to do. But I'm grateful because it is Holy Spirit led. And I think as a woman and in leadership in general, the Holy Spirit has to be the teacher, right? So we talk about a force to be reckoned with, understanding the power that a woman possesses. It really requires wisdom. It requires a quiet confidence. It requires reflection time in private before you step out in public. Because how is a house built? It's by the hands of a wise woman. The man gives the instruction in terms of vision, but it's the wife then that builds that home. And so nations are built, I believe, internally first in that private sphere of influence. Then God can trust you with more. Here's one thought that I had as I was preparing for today, and that is that God requires a total surrender. If you're looking to really influence nations, you can't do that with your own objective in mind. It requires a pure motivation. He cannot trust you to wring from whatever level of influence, from if you're in the United States, from the White House, if you're in a different country, from whatever parliament, whatever seat of influence, if you cannot have self-control and be, I would say, obedient to the little things in your home. That's where it begins, total surrender in the private sphere of your influence. And so you have to have a possession of courage to do hard things in private when nobody is looking. That's why David is so phenomenal to me. Because he said, not only did he stand up to the giant, but the reason that he did that was because of God. He said, "Who defiles the living? How dare you talk about my God?" And that's why women who are awoke, right, who are alive in their purpose are so special to God. Because they have such a love for him, that there's an affection toward the things of God. And that's how you're able to empower in leadership. You have to have a love for the King. How can your life be surrendered? How can you really make change? How can you really use your influence? How can you then use the force that is necessary? It can't be out of your own accord. You can use all the talking that you want to use. You can scream. You can yell. That will not work. That's not what this is. It's being led by the Spirit of God. And being able to be so keen and so discerning. And as he flows, you flow with him. As he dances, you dance with him. That's how we're going to get to another level of destiny. How will this organization move forward? How will the kingdom message be spread abroad in the earth? No, it won't happen without a woman. And it won't happen without wives who are discerning enough, just like Pilate's wife, who whispered in his ear and he said, "Don't you touch." She said, "Don't touch Jesus." Right? Sometimes you can be the dreamer and not the doer. Your influence doesn't mean that you have to shout it out. Your whisper in your husband's ear can change the entire nation. So it requires a level of wisdom. And I'll say this last point. But for me at this stage of my life, I am just so passionate about a few things, very few things. But one of which is just training younger women. I solely believe with my whole heart that it's because of the level of influence that we possess. And what God is saying is that these younger women need to understand how to use their influence, because they can make or break the man. And if we then, Dr. Danae, understand that the training of the younger women has to go forward in order then for us to create paradigm shifts in the leadership landscape, it can change major things in the marketplace, in ministry, and in our homes. But it's going to require training of those who are now coming up.